I mean, I seem all happy and cheerful. Welcome to Follow Everton with me, Yann, and Dan.
It's been a while.
It has.
We're partners.
I don't know why I'm smiling. Why are you smiling?
Because if you don't smile, then you'll be sad, and there's no point in being sad, is there? We might as well. Like you say, it's not good news.
No.
Just a smile for the channel. We can't look too miserable at the start, can we?
Honestly, I'll get this out of the way, though. I don't want to be too maudlin because I really love Big Dunk and I genuinely just want to get this out there. I wish him all the best and he deserves the opportunity to progress and do that. So, you know.
Yeah, I agree. To be fair, it's sad to see him go, but you do understand that he's got to go. So it's gutting, but you understand it.
Yeah. I mean, firstly, like, when do you think, where do you think he's going to go?
I don't know, because that news did come out that he was going to go to Blackpool, didn't it?
Yeah.
Not Blackpool, Blackburn, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Blackburn. And that went quiet, but I don't know whether that's still a chance. I haven't even looked into it, because the last thing that I expected on our first day back at training was the announcement today that we've got that Dunk is leaving. And obviously it's been planned because it's all been done and they've done the video for it.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that video where he's talking and he's obviously been umming and ahhing over 6 months. I mean, it's very difficult, I think, for me, and a lot of people might not automatically take the leap to think he's grown as a person from the impassioned and very spontaneous kind of man that he was on the pitch that was getting very caught up in the moment of football. But clearly, he's done progression from the academy. He went from the under 12s, under 15s, 18s, and went that, and he took a few years hiatus after leaving and moved his family to, was it Mallorca or somewhere? And so he's taking steps in the right direction that are best for him. Do you think we will see him again, though?
Some people are saying that. It's hard to say because I think Lampard's quite young, isn't he? So you never know what the future's going to hold. There's a lot of people out there. Tim Cahill is another one out there that could be a good manager in the future. But like you just said, I think I'm going to make a point on it because we'll go through it. The Duncan Ferguson, when he played football, he played with his aggression. Now, when you're a player and you've got aggression, he kind of got by that aggression. And then when you go into the managing career, aggression doesn't get you anywhere, does it? And he kind of didn't have that aggression when he was a manager. And you could see in that interview, for me, it's not the hard man Big Dunk when he talks. It's Big Dunk trying to make a career for himself, trying to work his way up. Because he sounded, when he said he was asking Moyes what to do and stuff like that, it sounded like he was really nervous in the environment of being a manager. And Moyes said to him to go into the I don't know whether it was under 16s or 18s. And he said, I started and I did everything right and worked my way up. And he's just learnt the trade, hasn't he? And worked his way up well to a point where he was our manager. And now I think it is time for him to be a manager.
Yeah, I mean, he admittedly, it demonstrates a lot of faith, not only from the fans, but from the board, a faith in him to be able to step up, that he had those two interim sort of, caretaker roles once after Marco Silva, where he was in charge for 4 games. And to be fair, we won 4 and drew 3, and then one after Benitez left, which was, this season or the season just gone. And that was only the 1 game, and I don't blame him for losing that. We were appalling. This season, I don't think you can hold anyone responsible. It's a collective sort of series of,
It was different, wasn't it? I think it was when he took over that Chelsea period, when he absolutely smashed it, there's a few players that you could work with where this time when he took over, you did feel like the team was down and out and a bit dead, and it was going to be very hard for Dunk to get them going.
Yeah, you did have, was it Andros Townsend? I can't remember. I've watched so many videos gone. Was it Andros where he was talking about, the team had this losing mentality that was just so difficult to shake?
Yeah, it was interesting to hear that Townsend interview because he literally come out and said everything how it was. He didn't like sugarcoat it, did he? He said this period was where we was looking around the changing room to see who's got it, who's got what it takes and who hasn't, who's got the personality and stuff like that. So it wasn't like he was saying, "Oh, everyone was good enough, but we was unlucky." He was actually calling people out and saying, "We need to be better. It's about Everton, not about me." He spoke like that, and that was good for me.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you understand that players and representatives and employees of a club walk this fine line, and yet it's almost like, well, okay, you're saying this and it's just filler, and you're not actually saying what the fans are here to listen to. Give us a bit of insight that's not just the obvious, oh, it's been tough, oh, this has happened. We're begging for some deeper understanding. And
Yes.
and I think Duncan Ferguson obviously knew his trade as a footballer. It can be quite. There aren't many managers that are just singularly managers that haven't had a history in football. So I think maybe what's been difficult is the fact that he's been so scrutinised, spending his entire career at Everton, by Everton fans in the Premier League, in English football. So maybe he's going to take that step back to be able to prove himself without the weight of expectation, both from the fans and from the sort of whole footballing world.
I do think he'll do it now as well. A lot of Championship teams will be interested in him because he's got that sort of character in the changing rooms where he can really get a team fighting for me. And in the Championship, it's different to the Premier League. The Premier League I think you've got to be really clever as a manager because it's quite technical and tactical in the Premier League. You've got to be really switched on and clever. Where the Championship, if you can get all that changing room like aggressively booming and stuff like that, it's going to be good for him. And I will keep an eye on him, because I think whoever he goes to Championship, that'll be my little second team where I keep an eye on him. I really do hope he does well because I don't see any hatred. Like I've seen a few people have grudges against him, but I really don't see how you could have that. Not many though at all, but I don't see how you could have a grudge against Big Dunk because he's done nothing wrong and he's a legend.
I mean, Stefan Freund and Sami Hyypiä and some of those might have a few grudges.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any sort of standout memories?
So I just him as a player in general. Every time he played, you knew that basically you had a leader. Like with Big Dunk, you knew that if anything cracked off, you've got Big Dunk.
Yeah.
If you was against a team that was going to give you shit, you got Big Dunk there, so you're all right. And when I play football, it's the same. If you've got a nutter in your team, you feel safe. And that's what it was like with Everton. It was just good having a nutter in the team. And even though you knew he could get a red, sometimes even if you had a bad game, it was just good to see what he was up to because he was absolutely nutcase when he played.
I just want to say, by the way, thanks a lot to everyone for joining us for this. Obviously, there's emotions up and down. As always, like, subscribe, comment, and add your comments, and we'll
we're starting to get a few people on the channel, and we're trying to get a few ex-Everton players on and stuff like that. We're trying to build it up, but the more people that like and subscribe, the more things we can do on the channel. And we're getting a lot on it. We've got quite a few people on the channel, so like and subscribe, and we'll try and get as many subscribers as we can.
Yeah, Mark said, I noticed he wasn't involved much under Frank like he was with previous managers. What did you think about that, Dan?
It kind of felt like when Benitez was manager, and Carlo a little bit, Dunk was at the side of him. Yeah. Then when Lampard come in, you seen him slowly go back to the seats further back. And it kind of did seem that he stepped back. Maybe because Everton was doing so bad and he just thought, I'm not gonna get in your way. We need change, and I want Everton to do well. Like, just good for Everton. I want Everton to do well. I'll step back and just let Lampard come in and do his job.
And also, I kind of want to. I would point out, maybe it's just speculation, that if we'd have gone down, I think that Lampard would have gone somewhere else to sort of stay in the Premier League, possibly, or I don't know whether he would have stayed. In which case, it may well have been that Everton would have appointed Duncan Ferguson as that resilient, hardy, physical sort of manager, and maybe that sort of distance was necessary. And certainly, I think it kind of broke a lot of. He's Evertonian. He says his kids have got season tickets to Goodison. I think it broke a lot of spirits appointing Benitez, and then, the disastrous sort of stretch of his tenure as manager.
I don't think. What do you think his job was though? Like, what do you think Duncan Ferguson's job was? Because obviously he was like a trainer on the ground and stuff like that, tactics, set pieces. He was training with them. He worked with them as a coach training. But we'll go into this. He did a lot more than that. I mean, we've seen him all over Twitter. The amount of like messages he's been giving out. I mean, I've just looked on my Twitter feed today and literally picture with Duncan Ferguson, picture with Duncan Ferguson, picture with Duncan Ferguson. Some players say no to pictures, by the way. Some people just walk on. He's clearly the person that always says yes. And I seen not so long ago a kid that's going around meeting football legends and stuff like that. Really cute kid. I can't remember his name on Twitter, but you've probably seen it as well. Duncan Ferguson come off the coach, picked him up, gave him a big hug, had a picture of him and stuff. He has got a big heart, Duncan Ferguson. He proper wins you over, doesn't he? And he did it with... we've got Dual Mike on Twitter, the Everton fan, the legend Dual Mike.
Yeah.
And, Dual Mike's a proper cracking kid. And every time I speak to him, he talks about Duncan Ferguson coming round his house. Duncan Ferguson actually went round his house, had a cup of tea with him. How good is that? Who would do that? Like, generally, there isn't many people in the football industry that would do that. And the fact he went around, that's going to stay with Dual Mike forever. So I really can't... People wouldn't do that. And I think you can't just say, oh, he should do that. No, a lot of people don't. And the fact he has done that means he is something special to me and it proper wins me over.
Yeah, I know it's very difficult. Oh, by the way, I think Ryan's on here going, if you're on Facebook, come over to YouTube and subscribe. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's certainly the kind of thing that you want to see. I mean, Eugene has said, thanks for joining us again, Eugene. You're always here. What was your favourite Duncan Ferguson best bits when he was an Everton player back in the day? I mean, I think the fact that he got the team and the fans, as Dan just said, and that he seemed to understand what it meant to be Everton. You know, even when he was part of the club setup, that he remembered what it was as a player, but that he knows what it means to the fans. And he said that in his video. You know, he wants to extend an understanding to the fans that he knows how much it means and how much their support means to him. So, you know, I genuinely... I
like the part where the blood's trailing down his... You know, the picture that we've got on the building where the blood's trailing down his face. That just sums him up, doesn't it? That I remember watching... I forgot his name now. It's one football player. Who's the one that's on Soccer AM?
Oh, don't ask me. I'm not up at that time on a bloody Saturday.
No, I don't know. He's someone on Soccer. I can't remember who he is, but he was talking about Duncan Ferguson. And he was saying, literally, you've got to keep away from him on the pitch and stuff like that, because generally they was scared.
Oh, was it Jimmy Bullard?
Jimmy Bullard, that's it. Yes, Jimmy Bullard. You got me there. Yeah, because I watched Jimmy Bullard because he goes on this golf. He goes on golfing, a golf channel with tubes. And Jimmy Bullard said he said something because there is a video of Jimmy Bullard where he looks at him like that in a corner, doesn't he? And he's like scared.
Yeah.
And he said, literally, so one of my players come up to me and said, Duncan's going to come after you. And he was really, really scared. And he said he is one of the scariest players he's ever come up against. So it shows that it wasn't fake. He was a scary player to play against. He's just said, Paul Ince, getting thrown to the floor.
Yeah.
What did you say? The Herpia one, did you say?
Yeah, I mentioned that. And Stefan Freund. And, I mean, to be fair, you know, we're making him out like he's a bit of a thug. But... I mean, the one thing that I will point out, obviously, is, you know, there's going to be a lot of people watching who will have a better memory and will certainly not have been as young as we were watching him, you know, in the late 90s. I mean, the close control he had for a man of his size, over 6 foot, was something else. The way that he had that gentle touch and could find a yard. But honestly, just for me, it's the headers. To know that we had that, and it's something that stands out simply because for quite a few years we've not had that defensive or offensive sort of aerial ability, which, you know, seems strange that his last game at the club, you know, he's talking about the you know, how memorable it was at Crystal Palace and Calvert-Lewin heading that goal in, and I just think it's fantastic. I mean, he's sort of, he bookended a lot of his careers. He scored the first trio of headers in the Premier League, as in a hat trick. He scored.
Would you challenge Duncan Ferguson in a header? I would. No. You wouldn't challenge him, would you? You just let him head the ball because you know he's going to crack your skull if you try and challenge him, wouldn't you? Very intimidating player.
I mean, the fact that, what was it, he headbutted, was it McStay?
Yeah, I remember that. It was for it was in the Scottish League, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, there's another incident where an Everton player or Everton gets shortchanged because he played for a different team and then we got penalised. It's like the modern day Tony Kay.
I know. Things never change. We've got it all going on now, don't we? I mean, everything goes against us now. There's always something against Everton.
I mean, you know, I don't know. So I think we're drinking to Big Dunk, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll have a little drink. We'll say goodbye, good luck. It's just mainly good luck that I feel happy for him, you know. I want him to do well. And I feel like the longer he stayed at Everton, even some people that I know, they were starting to turn on him. It was becoming more and more toxic. Like, he's overstaying his welcome. He needs to leave. He's sponging off the club. And I thought, he's not. He just hasn't got the confidence to leave yet. Carlo knows he's a good manager. But Carlo also, that's why he messaged him and said, like, you can be a good manager, because he knows he hasn't got the confidence. But once he breaks that barrier and he does go to a team and is manager, that's it. But he ain't done it yet. Like you said, to go from Everton Academy straight to Premier League, it's too much. Maybe he needs to go in the Championship first.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments coming in as well.
Chuck them on. Let's see them. Let's go.
Yeah, go on. I mean, they are quite. I got to say to everyone, I got about 20 minutes notice to sort of write a poem, and they were like, jump on, and it's nearly finished. But I don't know whether to just read it as it is and then maybe do a finished one next time. But people are talking about how he also put burglars in hospital who broke in while his kids were asleep. Absolutely. Yeah. And crazy on the pitch, but just as two dicks trying to burgle his house, he minced them. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Oh, hello again, Romeo. Lovely to see you. Can see quite a few are always on.
Like and subscribe, people.
We really appreciate it. Honestly, the way this is picked up, it means a hell of a lot. And Dan and I are picking up like hosting duties to try and make sure we get as many videos on. So we absolutely love this. I mean, I feel that we could talk about Dunk for hours, but the videos might get a bit boring. Shall we take a little bit of a break and you can fill me in? Because, sorry to let everyone know, I was away all weekend. I went away Friday morning to do a bit of, obviously, Yann the Blue Viking. I went to a LARP, live action role play thing, off in the woods. And I came back I came straight from there and went to Rainbow Toffees, where I met the one, the only, the greatest Neville Southall, who's the patron of Rainbow Toffees. I've got to say they're doing fantastic work, and they smashed Wrexham Town Police Force 7-4. Right. So up the Rainbow Toffees.
Yann, your life is crazy at the minute. Like, I messaged Yann saying basically what you're up to, and he's like, "Oh, Lampard just messaged me. I'm going to meet Lampard." All right, and fair enough. Ken Wright. Then next couple of days, Ken Wright's just messaged me. He wants me in the box. This is not normal messages. And then later on, he's just and then later on, you're like, Neville. Yeah, and then later, I just messaged you to when was it, yesterday? And I seen you on Twitter, and you're chilling with Neville Southall. You chilling with him, with Rainbow Toffees, and I'm thinking, you are chilling with all the Everton legend. Peter Reid as well. You're watching the game with Peter Reid.
Oh, my God. You know what? It was so good being next to Reedy, because I didn't feel out of place in the director's box swearing my head off, because he's like, this fucking stinks. I'm like, yeah, it does, Peter. It fucking does.
That's the good thing about him, though, Peter Reid. He's like down to earth. He's proper. He is like us, isn't he?
Two dogs fighting, lad.
Yeah, I love it. Do you know when he was like about when Real Madrid won the Champions League and he was like, hello, Real Madrid and stuff like that? He literally does what we do. You've got to love him for it. And he's on the sessions as well sometimes. Proper legend he is.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody called Everton Blues saying there's big developments. Apparently the person running the group, is that Rainbow Toffees? Because they are doing some fantastic work. You know, it's fantastic and amazing what they're doing there. And I can't promote it enough. the inclusion for LGBTQ plus, for also getting exposure for inclusion, her game too, for disabled, for everybody as well, just to make sure that football is accessible to all. A big shout out to Paul, who runs Rainbow Toffees, and the entire team there, Mike as well. Honestly, much love to you guys, and they also were very kind enough to let me read a poem in support of Rainbow. So Everton Blues saying no, there's new groups in direct contact with the club, and yeah, it's fantastic. So I really do like the way that the Everton seem to be taking steps forward and engaging with fans, which is it's phenomenal. But yeah, sorry, are you just a bit salty there, Dan? You want some sort of inside information, or you want to get hobnobbing with the?
No, I just listen to what you say. Sometimes when we're not speaking, when we only message you, I'm just learning stuff as you go, mate. Listen to what you say.
Yeah. But it's there's something about the Everton as a club that the proof's in the pudding. The way that you talk about Duncan Ferguson going and actually doing things, and the way that first team players used to go to Alderhay and still do, and get involved in charities, the way that Everton in the community and engage with fans, have the spirit of the Blues now, they've just got it as some sort of official recognition. The way that they have the Barclays fan, it's more than just that. It's being inherently involved in deserving the title, the People's Club. And that's been, Everton in the community has been around since in 1988. And the way that Big Nev also gets involved with stuff. I think somebody that represents him on a professional side, spoke to me there. I don't, obviously not necessarily at liberty to discuss that, but the things that they're involved in internationally, over 100 countries doing sort of football inclusion. It's something that the club values, and they value in the players, and certainly is instilled in the players. It's so there's no wonder that Duncan Ferguson is kind of like the family man that he is. Yeah.
It was interesting to hear Duncan Ferguson say about, I retweeted it, about the video of him saying he was doing some work with the community only the other day, and he said it made him really emotional because he still didn't want to leave. He still thought, should I be leaving? Like, I don't want to leave him. And he also said that he couldn't sleep for it. He does care. He does. Yeah. He's proper got a connection with the Everton fans. He'll always have it. He said on the channel as well, on the message as well, I've got my season ticket. I'll still be going and stuff like that. He does care. I've put Yann on the spot because I thought we're talking about Duncan Ferguson, and I thought, oh yeah, the Blue Viking. He does poems. Who better than the Blue Viking to say goodbye to Dunk with a poem?
It's not going to be the best, and I'll happily jump on and work on it and do another one for next time. But do you want to hear what I wrote in about 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, well, I've only gave you about 15, 20 minutes to do it. So like you say, it's just for what you've got. But a message for Dunk. It'd be nice if he gets it, even if you do carry it on after and send it out to him, because he definitely deserves a message because he is a proper good guy.
Absolutely. It's not finished, and it's a work in progress. But yeah, here's one to the hard man, our biggest number 9, to him who let the passions flow and sometimes crossed the line, who wore the blue, whose heart was true, knew what the fight was for, and towers high in memory, personifies the dogs of war. His homelands have a hero's past, with castles lost and won, and made his kingdom Everton, at home in Goodison. When Royal decreed and made the call, he knew he was the one, and soon the icon's chant was born, Duncan Ferguson. The first hat-trick of headers, the man deserves a crown, for without his wondrous efforts, the Blues would have gone down. Iconic in his presence, he made his skill an art, and didn't hesitate to show the faithful from the start. Here's to 2 late winners, both against United, bookending a love affair that saw old Fergie blighted. Twice he found his home invaded by furtive little bastards, and twice he chased them down. They found themselves totally plaster casted. The broken sanctity of one man's home results infirmary, but that's the least that I'd expect from Duncan Disorderly. The Scottish king who weathered storms like mighty boulders would find a way to lift up every man to stand upon his shoulders.
That's good, that is. Yann, you are good, you know. You are good.
Thank you.
There's something. Do you know what? When you listen to what you write, it pulls you in. It's passionate words. You wouldn't. I'm not even that. I'm not like. I'm not massively into my poems and stuff like that. But you make me into them with what you say because you make them about Everton. The Everton stuff that you put in pulls me in. So I'm not into poems, but with how you talk about Everton and how I feel about Everton, it makes me into your poems, mate. Honestly, that's how I can describe it. If it makes sense to you.
Thank you.
That was good.
I'm still a bit of a thanks. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Blue. Thanks for everyone.
15 minutes. I gave him 15 minutes to write that, and that's what he come up with. That is talent. That is big time. Makes you sad. It makes you sad, but you've got to love him. You've got to respect him, and you've got to honour him, and he'll move on, and he'll be a cracking manager. I do think he'll do well. I really do. I think Dunk will do well.
Thanks, Dan. So we can move on to talk about better things, but this one is to the big man.
Yeah, I'll have a little toast.
I cried when he left for Newcastle when I was about 12 years old. My dad picked me up from school one day and said, Duncan Ferguson's gone. And I was like, what? And he told me and I cried, but I'm going to try not to cry now. But
this is a shot for you, Duncan. Good luck with your managing career, mate. I hope you smash it big time.
Yeah, all the best.
I've still got to get used to whiskey.
I brought a bottle of mead back from LARP, mate. First night there, I drank nearly an entire bottle. Oh.
Well, to be fair, mate, like I had some. It's just a quick story. We'll put it on the channel because we know you like to listen to random things as well. Quick story. I had some Indian friends, Punjabi friends, and I go to Indian weddings and stuff like that. The people I used to work with, and every time a kid's born, they have a massive, massive party. And you go to the party and you have a shot to celebrate the kid being born and stuff like that. And I just thought it's a wicked thing to say goodbye or to celebrate something. And you have a shot to that's what they do. And I've kept that in me now. And last time when Richardson left, I had a shot for him. And now Dunk's gone. I've had a shot for him. Just helps you get over him a little bit better. But I think he'll do well. I'm happy for him. I'm looking forward to what he's going to do. It's sad because I did hope that he could have stayed with Everton and be a manager or something like that, but obviously it wasn't meant to be.
No, but you don't know what the future holds. He could be plying his trade, learning some real world experience, learning the nitty gritty of how to manage outside the Everton way. Because there's going to be times when you can. I mean, you'll know this. If you just stay within like one workplace, you get maybe too used to, potentially complacent. Familiarity breeds contempt, and it could be that he ends up, missing out on things and opportunities to grow as a manager, which, all fair play to him, even if he doesn't come back. I just want the best for him because he gave us decades.
The thing is, the best way I can put it, this is probably a crap way because I come out with some random lyrics. You're going to learn more by sailing the ship than just doing something at the back of the ship. And if Duncan's just doing bits and bobs at the back and not getting to be the manager and do everything at Everton that he wants to do and make the mistakes and make the good moves, he's not going to learn, is he? So if he goes and he's in full control, which I think he'll buzz from, he'll learn the trade. And nobody like a footballer can become a really good player. A manager can become a really good manager. And I do think that Duncan Ferguson will be a good manager. I hope he is. I really hope it comes where we're looking at all the Premier Leagues in the future going for him, saying Premier League teams saying, "Oh, they want Duncan Ferguson. He's the best manager in the Championship, and everyone wants him." And maybe he comes to us, or he just does well. That's all we want him to do.
Yeah. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Speaking of that, fill me in, Dan. Right? Because, like I said, I was away all weekend. I came back, and Richarlison sold. Oh, fucking hell. All this going on, takeover bid collapsing, Ericsson, Lingard, Tarkovsky's officially signed, which somebody told me, I don't want to necessarily talk about them, but a very wonderful person that I met for the first time in person at Rainbow Toffees told me that, no, I've forgotten what they told me.
It wasn't that important then, was it? It'll come back to you, don't worry.
It'll
come back to you. I've had those moments, don't worry. It'll come back to you. So basically, Richarlison is gone. I was gutted. I'm over it. He's a Tottenham player now, not an Everton player. I've got over it. I was gutted, but I'm over it. Tarkovsky is revealed.
That's it. They were selling Tarkowski shirts on the Everton website before the Everton website had announced he's signed.
Oh, I didn't even know that. You know more than me on that. See, you've been missing it, but you knew more than me. Well, we all knew he was coming anyway, didn't we? So I think they probably just got ahead of themselves. But you could see him on the pictures in the shadows and stuff like that. They're just really excited to announce him, weren't they? But I'm so happy to see him. I don't think I've been so happy to see a defender in my entire frigging life, because we need him so much, and we need a leader in defence.
What do you think? Is there any basis in the rumours about Gordon going? No, good.
No, I spoke to someone that was in a local pub with Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
And Gordon said to him that he's going nowhere.
Good.
Very good source. That Gordon said he's going nowhere. So there you go. Take it from me. That's a source saying he's going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere anyway. And 10 million, that's ridiculous. He ain't going nowhere. Gordon's staying.
I wouldn't take 30 million. No, he's irreplaceable, because not only has he got the youth, the potential, and the talent, but he loves the club and he wants to stay here. Yeah, that's it, exactly. Everton Blues just said, I think maybe if that's in relation to Gordon, I agree. But if it's also in relation to Gomez, what's our opinion on Gomez? Because I know he's very divisive.
Gordon. I think that was to Gordon, wasn't it? Like, he'll get the best out of Gordon. But Gomez, I think Gomez, I thought he was going to go, but then with him saying bye to Richarlison and stuff like that, he's saying bye like Richarlison's going and he's staying. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I want Gomez to be moved on, but if he isn't moved on, I'll be behind him 110%. Whoever has got that Everton shirt on at the I'm not doing that this season. I'm not going toxic, negative attitude, because we've been in that relegation battle and we don't want to be there again. So straight from the off, we've got to get behind who we've got. Trust in Lampard. Lampard is the manager. If he thinks someone's up to it, then trust that he's right.
Yeah. I think there's been so much, as people have sort of been mentioning in the comments a little bit. Thank you so much, by the way. Keep your comments coming in, because it's giving us stuff to talk about. We want to feel like you're engaged, and you've got, we want you to have a reason to come here. So I do appreciate that. Mark added that Eriksen virtually signed for United. Yeah, I caught up on that today. So thanks, Mark. It's I suppose it may be for the best, because considering his age, he was dominant for Brentford, but it's easy to, when you've got that composure, to be that kind of player, to stand out. But everyone appreciate that.
I like and subscribe, people. Basically on the Eriksen thing, I did really want Eriksen, but I wanted him, but I didn't think it was going to happen. And he's gone to United. And like you say, with Man United, he can afford to play half the season, and United will still be happy with that, where we would have needed him to play every game. And it was quite risky with his health conditions and stuff like that. I know it sounds stupid, but it is true, isn't it?
Yeah, Everton Blues made a good point. It might benefit Firmino and Gomez playing possession like they would have been used to in the setup. But I think... it's right. With a solid centre back in Tarkowski, if he's partnering Mina and Mina stays fit, or he's not been pushed to the extremes because we're not as exposed, and we've got maybe someone solid in midfield as well. I think with a more of a sense of confidence and cohesion in the backbone of the team, with a sense of not just playing to feet, because as we were talking about, Andros came out and was talking about a losing mentality. If you've got the confidence on the ball to play that kind of football, I have that faith in Gomez, because I genuinely believe that there's something about him that's reminiscent of Arteta. There's a style to his play that, to me, I don't know. I might be wrong. I might be proven wrong, or it could just be potential that doesn't get proven. But I genuinely see something in Gomez that's Arteta-esque. I don't know what you feel about that.
He probably is the only creator we've got. Whether he's good enough or not, I don't know. But like I say, if he is here, we've got to get behind him. It's going to be interesting to see whether we do move him on.
At the very least.
Go on.
Oh, no, it's not even a serious point. At the very least, he's got the haircut and the beard that looks fantastic.
He does look good. He does look good, to be fair. He looks pretty dapper. I can never knock him for that. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
So, least he looks good on the pitch, even if he doesn't play well, I suppose, isn't it? You know what I
mean? Just to make sure, right? Our missuses aren't going to watch this, are they?
No, she knows I'm loony anyway, mate. Don't worry about it. She knows I'm. Rodriguez was the worst one. He was the worst one. James Rodriguez.
Yeah.
The amount of people that fancied him.
So Mark is saying here, I want Lingard free. Dennis. All right, okay. Who is this Dennis?
Yes, Dennis. Right, Dennis the Menace.
Fill me in, Dan.
Go on, lad. If you don't know who Dennis is, then you clearly haven't been reading my Twitter, mate. Because I have done about 10 videos of Dennis edits, like trying to get him to come to Everton. Dennis is class, you know. He is good. Dennis is really, really good. And he scored, 8-9 goals last season? And he's a Nigerian player. I think he's 24, scores headers, strong, big, doesn't go down as much as Richarlison, stays on his feet. I've seen him go shoulder to shoulder with a few players, stay on his feet. Ripped a few players up last season. Fast, can play left wing, can play right wing, can play centre forward. So this Dennis guy, and apparently Everton are in talks with him. There was, I don't know how true it was, there was rumours that he was having a medical. And then there was rumours saying that we haven't even contacted him. So you just don't know. But Dennis would be a cracking signing. I really do think he will. And now
are you over-egging the cake there, Dan? Because I'm tenting a little bit here from all your...
No, he is. Do you know what? Watch him. He is good. I will put myself out there. If he ain't good, then I'll take the whack. But honestly, I do think he's good. He's just got everything that I want in a player. Attacking-wise, I think he'd be good.
Ryan, as always, taking the easy job, sitting off while we do the hard work. Thank you very much for the reminder there, Ryan.
I have.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We really do appreciate it. Yeah. We really do appreciate you joining us for this sort of heartfelt tribute and lament over, Big Dog's departure.
What did you think of the rumour today? Sky Sports have come out of it. We put in a bid for Broja.
Rumour or truth or
Sky Sports has got a tick on the account, so it might be true. It was the real Sky Sports, not the fake account. So,
okay, yeah, but Sky Sports also have a habit of sort of pretending that football didn't exist before 1992. So I take some of what they say with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I am starting to wait until it actually gets announced by Everton nowadays with the way it's going.
Right.
You can't believe anything, can you? You get told that many different stories. It's like Chinese whispers. One person says something and it passes on to be loads of other different things. So you don't know whether it's true, but I do think the Broja thing could be true. And if we have put a bid in for Broja, what do you think?
I mean, where does he play secondary? Because he's a sort of, is he a false nine or
he's goalkeeper?
What?
No, he's not really. No, he's a striker.
Oh right, okay. I mean, I'd be a bit concerned that might mean there's machinations or things behind the scene about Calvert-Lewin.
Yes, that is what I've just read as well. Someone said, because I think they were saying that Broja costs a lot of money, like 20, 30 million, and they're saying we can't pay that. So if this is true that we've gone in for him, does this mean that Calvert-Lewin's leaving? Or
does it mean that sorry, remind me, it might sound terrible, but did we sign Dele on a loan or a permanent?
Dele, we literally put about 10 million forward on him and then we pay the rest later. It's like a long contract. We pay him by how many games he plays. So we've basically signed him. He is ours, but we're just paying it over a long period of time. So we have got Dele Alli. They can't take it back. We have got to pay him. That's what a lot of people was talking about with the Gordon deal. They were saying that Tottenham are going to pay us 10 million for Anthony Gordon, and we'll clear the Ali debt. So they'll say we don't have to pay nothing on Ali. That's what they were saying.
Nah.
It's just bullcrap. Basically, this is what happened, right? Richarlison, the Richarlison deal went on. Ali got put in with that deal. The journalists had nothing else to talk about. So they thought they'd talk about Gordon leaving after. They didn't. That's what I think anyway.
It's people putting 2 and 2 together and making 5 or 22.
Yeah. There's not much going on at the minute, so they need to talk about something, don't they? They are tricking us. And the thing is with us Evertonians, because we feel like we need a few players, anything that we get told, we believe.
But having said that, though, when people say, "Oh, half the team get rid," and all this kind of stuff, if it is truly a case that spirits were just down and broken, we can't have gone from the team the season before last, being as good as we were then, to being shit, to suddenly only being that shit. They have got the latent skill and potential, and the ability to do as well as we did the season before the one just gone. Yeah,
well, the only way people are going to get over last season's relegation battle is when we have this season. We need this season to start as soon as possible for me, because when this season starts and you start playing games, you forget you was in a relegation battle and you start doing well, and we have a better season and we start doing better. But all we've got in our heads at the minute is the relegation battle. So we kind of need something else to have in our heads. That's what I think. Woohoo! We love you too.
Love you.
Like and subscribe, people. So I just think we need this season to start. And I do think, like you've just said, Yann, it is going to be a better season. And I'll go through this quick because we're not going to prolong the channel. But Patterson didn't play last season. He's a new right back for me. He didn't play, did he? So we've just signed a new right back, Patterson, because we didn't have him last season. We didn't use him last season. So he's going to be new, into Patterson is. Mikalenko just getting into it. Godfrey, he's going to play well with Tarkowski. He'll be like a new signing. And then midfield needs sorting out. But we can be good. We can be better. Iwobi was good. Iwobi finished well. There is positives. There's no point in being negative. We can't be worse than what we was last season, surely.
I will eat my hair.
Probably wouldn't taste nice.
No. Well, it tastes better than...
So Everton, make sure you play well. What did you think of, I don't know if you've seen it, some of the training pictures today and stuff like that? They was just released, Everton at training today. Purple training kits they had on. Look pretty cool.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I slept for about 12, 13 hours last night. Woke up about lunchtime going, because
it's just so hard to get you, Yann. Literally, last night you was in Vegas with
all the hookers,
all the ex-Everton legends, all the ex-Everton legends. You was in Vegas with Neville Southall on the roulette tables and stuff like that. And I'm like, Yann, get back from Vegas and come on the Everton channel with me.
Well, I mean, at the rate I was talking to a couple of lads from a different stream, different channel, like absolutely lovely guys. I don't want to misname it because I can't remember whether it was Toffee TV or someone's saying there you go, purple training gear, beautiful. Yeah,
I agree with him as well. He's right. I just think it's really fresh. It's nice. It's a nice colour purple. Shorts purple as well, all purple all the way through. And the jumpers are really nice as well because the jumpers are like that. You know, like the tight fit jumpers that you go running in. They look really nice fit and stuff like that. So I was really happy with the training gear. I seen a picture of Miko on the gym bench and them having a laugh with him. You can't help but like Mikalenko, can you?
No, I just
he's a proper cutie. You can't hate him, can you? He's a proper good lad. I like Miko.
And I mean, you know, the way that he's come out, the way that he's learned English so quickly, the way that I mean, Jesus Christ, that volley from the edge of the
yeah, it was good. That was. I want more of that though. I feel like he's got a few goals in him.
Yeah.
I don't think people believe in him yet, but he will be good. He was definitely getting better. Someone that I seen on the training ground will hit this. People listening in, you ready for this one? I've seen him on the training ground. He looks strong. He looks big. Gabamin.
What?
What do you think of Gabamin?
That's like you've exorcised a ghost. What the like?
I know. I was thinking that as well. I had to look twice to see whether he's real. But Gabamin back at training. What do you think? What's your thoughts on him? Do you think like give him a go, or do you think he's done?
Well, I mean, at this point, I mean, he played very briefly and he did look very off the pace, and when he came on, but again, it could be a case of, okay, so I've been injured, and I come back to this. That's a lot of weight of expectation, especially when everyone's just sort of already written you off. So, I mean, absolutely, I'd give the guy a chance.
Well, the main talk at the minute is number 6 position, and everyone's saying we need a number 6, we need a number 6. And if we haven't got the budget to get a number 6, would you play Gbamin in that number 6 position? Who's saying he don't come back? Like you said, last season was a hard season to come into. It seemed whoever played for Everton last season played poorly. But maybe on a fresh start of this season, who's saying he can't play the number 6 role? And even if you got 20 good games out of him, it would be a massive plus.
Yeah.
Or would you move him on?
Well, is anyone really going to want to pay anything for him?
Yeah, that is the problem. I just think if you've got to keep him, then make sure you use him.
Exactly. Use the assets you've got before they're completely written off, or don't write off an asset before you know whether it's an asset or not.
Yeah, that's what Lampard has got to do though, because I don't feel that our budget is going to be massive. So he literally has got to get 110% out of every player, use them to their full potential, because he's not going to have a massive squad, is he? I went through the squad last time on the channel with one of the lads and with Basil, and we looked at the midfield. It's not massive. I think we do need some midfielders. What do you think?
I have to agree. I think that we need a sort of Gravison, Carsley, someone solid in the middle that's gonna. I mean, not necessarily solid, but the way that Idrissa Gana Gueye was literally in between the channels, intercepting the balls, tackling, getting stuck in and covering the gaps that the defence would leave due to the play being stretched on the wings. We've missed him since he left.
Yes, it was interesting. I spoke to Balassi, and Balassi said to me, I know when he did play for Everton, he said when Gana Gueye played in defensive midfield, we knew we could just get forward because he would sweep everything up behind me and we were safe.
Sorry, you said you spoke with Balassi?
Yeah. Yannick Balassi. And he said, I goes to Yannick Balassi, who was the best players, Everton players that you've played with? And he said the best 2 players that he played with, he goes, there was some good ones, but he goes, the best 2 players was Lukaku and Gana Gueye. He just said with Gana Gueye, when as a winger, you could bomb it forward. Yannick Balassi says, you could bomb it forward and you'd be safe behind you. We haven't got that at the minute. Sometimes when we bomb it forward, they counter-attack us and we got absolutely annihilated. It was like that. Every time we made a mistake last season, the ball was in the back of the net. Sometimes you make a mistake and you end up with a corner or a throw-in defending. We made a mistake and the ball was in the back of the net. Yeah,
there was no confidence as soon as, and even as a fan, you could see that. It was like, oh, the ball's going into the box. Yeah, so someone's, Romeo's just asked, should we sign Besic or Vlasic on loan? I don't know whether that would be an option, but Morgan, Gibbs-White?
There is one player that's gone to Leeds that we was talking about. I can't remember his name.
Kieran Phillips?
I don't know if you people know on the channel. It was... I can't remember his name. I think he's a centre mid. I don't know what position he plays, but there was talks that we was on about getting him in, but he's signing for Leeds now. It's just been confirmed. And then, like you say, the Ericsson deal is confirmed. It's starting to happen now, isn't it? A lot of the stuff is starting to happen. So we are going to find out where we are. There's going to be some interesting stuff for us to talk about because Ericsson's gone now. Gone. Gallagher, we're going to find out what happens with him because it's going to happen soon. Will we get him? Will he be moved on? I don't know. I'd love Gallagher. But it's all starting to happen now. And we have got that. I don't know how much we've got of it, but we have got that Richarlison money. So I think we'll bring in a few. Not a lot, but a few.
I'm going to do a quick see what comes up. Okay, here we go. Football Fancast have said the Everton make approach for Chelsea's Armando Broja. Bergwijn snubs Toffee's move.
Yeah, that's the one.
Football Fancast. Everton interested in Rodrigo Bacau.
Do you believe that one?
I don't know. It's just it's filler at this point, isn't it? Because there's not very much going on. Everton prepare offer to sign Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah, that was one I read about as well, Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah.
He's the one from Wolves, isn't he? I think he is the one from Wolves.
Yeah.
Young lad. Not that proven, though. He is good because he's young and stuff like that, but he's not that proven. That's going to be 20 million on that, though.
Oh, Daily from...
He's got something here. Like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe. We'll keep going through all the news. We've gone through the big Dunk departure.
I'm not sure. A few people are saying this. I'm not sure what even this is. Apparently, there's going to be some kind of law trying to tackle fraudulent fake Everton channels.
Is it? Well, I'm completely real.
Yeah.
This is all real, mate.
Mark's pointed out apparently there's waiting on a Lingard decision. Moyes at West Ham, so that's looking unlikely because there's offers from a couple of points there. Yeah.
I did read West Ham said 150k a week is too much for Lingard, and then there was interest from us in Lingard. You just got to wait, haven't you? I don't know what's going to happen on that Lingard one. I would take him if the wages was right. I wouldn't take him on stupid wages. It was really interesting. We talked about it last time on the channel about Brands come out and gave a massive statement, didn't he? Brands did.
Yeah, I meant to read that. Can you sort of recap it for me? Because we should probably wrap up soon, guys. Thanks for joining us again. Really appreciate it. Again, sorry, like and subscribe. We really do appreciate your support, guys. It would be nothing.
New Everton top as well.
Oh yeah, it's nice. It's tidy that.
I just want to go a bit smart for the channel, like there's some nice gear out there. I got the white and blue stripe one as well.
Yeah.
So we was talking about the Brands. Brands basically said he was trying to just quickly go through this. Brands was saying to get players on lower wages. He obviously knew FFP was the situation, and Brand said, where I told Moshiri to get someone for 50 grand, Moshiri wanted to get someone for 150 grand. And how can someone sit in the changing room that's on 150 grand next to someone that's 50 grand? It just massively imbalances the Everton team. So he basically said his plan was to get people in on low wages and stuff like that to not mess the FFP situation up. Moshiri has basically said it doesn't matter. And then it's bitters in the arse, and it does matter. That's how I see what he said, basically.
I think again, not to stir the pot over Everton, not to get somebody from the club maybe coming and saying that we're saying sort of spurious or anything libelous or it's just. It's difficult not to look at the maelstrom of events and criticise people here and there. But as Dan says, Mr. Positive is back, and onwards and upwards. And
there's no point on going on about what's happened, because what's happened is happened. You can go on about it for as long as you want. It isn't going to change what's like the situation we're in now. You can start fresh. You can move on. You can always move on. And with Everton now, we just need to worry about going forward, not worrying about what's happened going backwards. It's just not right. I do think we can turn things around and we can get better, and we just learn from our mistakes. And that's how I feel we've got to do it. Got to be positive.
Speaking of going forward, to a man that's given us the better part or even more of 20 years of his on-field and off-field life, once again, Duncan Ferguson.
I haven't even got any
the whiskey.
More shots.
No!
I've run out. I'm not having too much. I thought I'll have one shot.
You look like a giant.
I can't handle it. Look at that little can, though. Baby can. It does warm you up, though, that whiskey shot, I tell you.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Did before we wrap this up, people keep liking and subscribing, because we love doing this. We love talking about Everton. And I don't want to big ourselves up, but our match reaction is pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Yann's pretty good on match reaction. I like Yann as well. I like his match reaction and stuff. So, and everybody else, Ryan, everyone on the channel, Mabsy. So if you like and subscribe, you won't regret it. I do feel like we're going to have some good stuff coming this season, and you'll like the channel. So help our channel out, like and subscribe, and we can just do more stuff. It helps us big time.
We've just been asked. Peter's asked, is that a Warwickshire accent, Dan?
I can put on any accent I want. I just change it. Sometimes it depends what mood I'm in. If I'm happy,
I mean, I wouldn't get too many people putting on if I sort of talk like this, like from West Country.
Yeah, well, sometimes I'm too like this, like a farmer, you know what I mean? But no, I do change it. I don't know what accent I've got. I just speak like I speak.
It's very sort of generic Southern, and I know I sound like the BBC News 6, you know. Anyway, on that note, thank you for joining us. Thank you for popping on the channel. Really appreciate your comments as always. Big shout out to all you guys, Romeo, Jack, Jimmy, Peter, just everyone who's commented, Mark especially, Joe, Jack. Just really appreciate you all for joining us. Thanks very much. Thanks for your compliments for the poetry. Like, subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Keep popping on, and we'll have this journey with you.
Thank you very much. Season. And bring on the new season. All the best to Duncan Ferguson, the finest blue we've had for a generation.
And Yann gave him a good poem as well to say goodbye. Up the fucking toffees. Love you all.
Up the fucking toffees. Absolutely. And as always, Dan, it's an absolute... Oh, he's left me. Oh, fine. Bye.